Hello everyone, my name is Nixon Wafula. I'm from Kenya. I took the informative speech topic to be conservation agriculture. I would like to talk to you about conservation agriculture. What is conservation agriculture? Conservation agriculture is that aspect of doing agriculture with minimal waste of resources. Conventional agriculture, we realize there's a lot of wastage of resources in terms of energy spent, in terms of the inputs that are put in on the farm, labor and all that. So that's why we came up with the concept of conservation agriculture. Literally is to conserve, the whole process. So what are the key principles of conservation agriculture? The main principle is minimum tillage. Minimum tillage, whereby you only disturb your soil minimally. Yeah, if some people call it zero tillage, but zero tillage is more advanced. It's the same, almost the same concept. You don't have to disturb the soil, turn the soil all over and every now and then. You see, that one you're loosening the soil unnecessarily. But with conservation agriculture, we recommend that you only dig or disturb the soil at a point where you are planting, period. You don't have to dig all over, turn the soil all over. Number two, the second main principle of conservation agriculture is crop rotation. We are talking about planting at a specific point. That point we call it permanent planting stations. If you are having permanent planting station on your farm, repeating the same crops year in, year out, or every season may not be so good for that particular crop or even that particular soil, because it will use one crop. Planting one crops every season will use the soil nutrients in an unbalanced manner. They will use one type. For example, if you're planting maize year in, year out, maize use certain types or certain categories of nutrients. So it's good to rotate with maybe legumes or pulses, so that there is a balanced use of the nutrients in the soil, thus improving the soil structure. So crop rotation is very key under conservation agriculture. Number three is residue retention. Residue retention is whereby the plant remains, the crop remains, that after harvesting is left on top of the soil. Most farmers take away or remove all the plant residues from the farm, either to take to their livestock at home or somewhere else, or because it is tedious to work on the farm that has a lot of trashes, maize, tova, they burn it. They find it very tedious to work on it. Maybe if you're plowing or you're using oxen plow or disc plow, they found it tedious, so they prefer to burn, and that is very wrong. When we are talking about residue retention, we are talking about residue retention, not mulching. Mulching is getting material or plant material or anything, it can be synthetic and asynthetic, to cover the soil. And if you transport materials from another area to your farm, most likely you'll transport diseases, or you transport weeds or pests. So we don't recommend actually transportation of material for another farm. We prefer the material that has already been on your farm, because you know how well you have managed your farm. You have done weed control, you have done pest control, and the residue that remains after harvesting is what we recommend to be in the farm. So what are the conditions for doing conservation agriculture? The conditions are the key conditions are only two. Timeliness. All these aspects, and in life in general, we need timing. Yeah. If you don't do your timing very well, you will flop. Yeah. So timeliness is very key in doing all these aspects, or else you'll be doing zero work. Number two, precision. Precision. Because the extremes are very dangerous. So you really have to be precise, in terms of how deep will you dig, your permanent station, or how much crop residue is adequate, or how much water can be allowed to be conserved on the soil. Too much of it will lead to stagnation, too little will lead to wilting of plants and all that. So precision in every key aspect is very key. In conservation agriculture is very key, because we're talking about conserving. Conserving is using it in required amount only, no much, no less. What are the benefits of conservation agriculture? Conservation agriculture, the outright benefit is increased yields. Because you will find, there is water retention because of residue cover, there is increased nutrients because of maybe precision of application of fertilizer, and the residue has decomposed into humus, that will automatically increase the yields of the crops. And also the timing aspect, if you are timely, because land preparation, you don't have that rush of land preparation or lateness in land preparation, so your yields are able to, your crops are able to utilize the nitrogen flux that come with timing, so your yields are bound to be higher than the person or the farmer who has done conventional farming. So there's reduced cost of production. Researchers approximated around 60%, because you're not buying the whole of your land. You're only digging where you're planting, either reaping or digging holes, or what we call basins. So the rest of the soil is not disturbed, so that's automatic. Less labor used, less man hours used, because you don't involve in so many other things. And for example, let me take for example weed control. Now we don't disturb the soil, so all we can do is maybe use of herbicides or slashing or soil cover, that is residue retention. So if you applied a good cover on your soil, that is residue retention, it will smother weeds. Now it reduces the time spent on weed control. Yeah. And the beautiful aspect about conservation agriculture is environmental conservation. Environmental conservation, when it comes to conservation agriculture, is viewed on the basis of the carbon, and in this case soil carbon. When a farmer burns the crop residue to ease the operation on the soil or on the farm, he releases those carbon into the atmosphere, thus increasing the greenhouse gases. But when a farmer retains those plant residue on the farm, so he increases the retention capacity, the carbon retained in the soil, thus conserving environment by reducing the amount of greenhouse gases emitted into the atmosphere. Yeah. So that's the beauty of it, and we can also see that you are conserving soil, you are providing food for microorganisms in the soil, and you are also reducing evaporation of soil water into the atmosphere by not exposing the soil to the scorching sun rays. So in conclusion, I like to say that conservation agriculture is the way to go for everybody, every farmer, and every country to realize our food security and also to conserve our environment. Thank you very much.